Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering video, and this is the second of two videos where I'm going to be opening some Ravnica City of Guilds product. If you want to have a bit more of an explanation about this, then I suggest you watch the first video if you've not seen it already, because I'm going to dive straight in, start opening these up. Obviously I'm going to be highlighting the guild mechanics as I go along, but in the first video I go into a bit more depth and also read through and explain some of the guild mechanics in a bit more detail. So we're going to just crack open, same as the first video. We've got a tournament pack and a couple of boosters. So we've got to find the part on this that actually lets us get into the product. There we go. Okay, so as I pointed out with the tournament pack, you've got, so here's the top bit's the equivalent of around 3 boosters. You get 3 rares in there and then an appropriate number of uncommons and commons. We've got this insert, which, like I said, I explained it a bit more and went through a bit more in the first video. Just explains the rules around the set, because this is obviously we're introducing 4 guilds here, and there's explanation about the specific guild mechanics there, which I go through in the first video. And then we've got our land pack, which I will go through, just flick through these if you haven't watched the first video yet. And at the back of this land pack, there's also a premium foil and a sort of pro stats card, which we'll take a look at. So you'll see that all of the artwork here is all Ravnica cityscapes. This was set on a world where it was just one big city with 10 warring guilds, and you can see the different colours of mana reflect those factions in some way. So in terms of the guilds that you're going to see in this set, there's 4. As you've got green, white, blue, black, black, green, and also red, white. So we have a foil Selesnya Signet, 2 to cast, 1 tap it, add green, white to your mana pool. And our pro stats card is Oliver Royal. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the cards from this particular tournament pack. So we have Lurking Informant. It's blue-black, well, 1 blue-black to cast. You can see there's the Dimir watermark there. Surge of Zeal, single red with the Boros mechanic on it of Radiance, so target creature and each other creature that shares a colour with it gains haste until end of turn. Sundering Vitae, I think that is, or Vitae. 3 in a green, instant, it's got Convoke on it, so each creature you tap while playing this spell reduces its cost by 1 or by 1 mana of that creature's colour. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. So that's our Selesnya mechanic. Caregiver, single white to cast. Dizzy spell. So a single blue instant, target creature gets -3/-0 until end of turn. It has transmute on it, which is the Dimir ability, Dimir mechanic. 1 and 2 blue. So 1 and 2 blue, discard this card, search your library for a card with the same converted mana cost as this card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library, play only as a sorcery. Thought Picker Witch, Seismic Spike, Elvish Sky Sweeper, Boros Recruit. So if you've watched the first video, we're going through the commons now and you would have seen a lot of these before. Goblin Spelunkers. It's got Mountain Walk on it. Okay, so we've now moved on to our fourth example of the guild mechanic here. So we've got Dredge. So we've got Greater Moss Dog, 3 and a green, 3/3. Creature Hound with Dredge 3. If you would draw a card, instead you may put exactly 3 cards from the top of your library into your graveyard. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand, otherwise draw a card. Selesnya Sanctuary, because there was a cycle of common dual lands, so they come into play tapped. Also, when they come into play, you have to return a land you control to its owner's hand. It can be any land, it can be a basic or non-basic. Tap, add green, white to your mana pool. It looks like a disadvantage. I mean, in the long term, the good thing with this is, of course, once this comes online, you get to tap it for 2 colours together, so green, white. If you use this cleverly, and this works I think better outside of the set, I'm not sure if there are actually any lands in here which have enter the battlefield abilities, but what you can do is bounce a land back to your hand which has some sort of ETB ability, and then replay it to re-trigger that. Stasis Cell. Roofstalker White. So as I mentioned before, I think you've got black casting cost with a blue activation, so no surprise to see that there's the Dimir watermark there. Viashno Slasher. We've also got a Golgari Rock Farm, so this is the same as the previous common dual land we saw, but it's in black green. Tattered Drake, another card where you've got a 1 colour activation cost and the corresponding guild colour, 1 colour casting cost and the corresponding guild colour for the activation. Consult the Necro Sages. So we've got a modal card here. It's a Dimir card, costs blue-black to cast, no surprise there for being Dimir. And choose 1. Target player draws 2 cards, or target player discards 2 cards. Gather Courage, it's got Convoke on it. Boros Fury Shield, so white to cast with a red conditional ability in here. Voldalken Dismisser. Dimir Houseguard has Transmute on it. So 3 and a black with a Transmute cost of 2 and 2 black. So we discard the card, search the library for a card with the same converted mana cost as this card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Play only as a sorcery. Fists of Ironwood, I think I'd mentioned in the other video, in my preamble, there was an Enchantment Matters theme in the deck, in the set. So this is 1 and a green, Enchantment Aura, Enchant Creature. When Fists of Ironwood comes into play, Put 2/1/1 green sapling creature tokens into play. Enchanted creature has trample. Wartorch Goblin. Screeching Griffin. So white to cast with a red activation cost. Snapping Drake. Dimir Signet, so the blue-black Signet. Fiery Conclusion. Siege Worm. So 5 and 2 green for a 5/5, but it does have Convoke and Trample on it. So we've got 3 signets in here. We've got Boros Signets, the red-white one. Flight of Fancy. Stone Shaker Shaman. So we're moving on to our uncommons. Goliath Spider. Peregrine Mask. So I've got a bit of equipment here. 1 to cast. Equipped creature has Defender, Flying and First Strike. Equipped for 2. Clutch of the Undercity. Blue-black casting cost with a blue-black transmute cost on there. Netherborn Flanks, so 5 and a black to cast with a 2 and 2 black transmute cost. Wojek Ember Mage with Radiance on it, because it's a Boros card here, so 3 and a red to cast, 1/2 with Radiance, so tap Wojek Ember Mage, deals 1 damage to target creature and each other creature that shares a colour with it. And you can see very faintly there we've got the Boros watermark. Rolling Spoil. So 2 and a green with a black conditional ability on here. Sand Sower. Cleansing Beam. Overwhelm. And our rares, we've got Breath of Fury. 2 and 2 red enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control. When enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it and attach Breath of Fury to a creature you control. If you do, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase there is an additional combat phase. Hunted Dragon. 3 and 2 red for a 6/6 with Flying Haste. Flying and Haste. When Hunted Dragon comes into play, put 3 2/2 White Knight creature tokens with First Strike into play under target opponent's control. So in the first video I did on Ravnica City of Guilds, we had another one of these hunted creatures, and again you get a pretty decent creature, but your opponent also gets a number of tokens as well. Flicker Form. So 1 and a white enchantment aura. Enchant creature, 2 and 2 white. Remove enchanted creature and all auras attached to it from the game. At the end of turn, return that card to play under its owner's control. If you do, return those auras to play under their owner's control, enchanting that creature. So there we have the contents of our tournament pack. So we'll move on now to our 2 boosters and see what we get. One thing you'll notice actually at this point in Magic, there's no basic lands in the booster packs. That's something that did happen for a period of time in Magic. Voltari of the Conclave, 1 to cast with 2 and a green activation cost. Terraformer. Gaze of the Gorgon. Goblin Spelunkers. Greater Moss Dog. Sewer Drag. I don't think we've seen one of those yet in either of the packs, either of the unboxings. Smash. Rally the Righteous. Peel from Reality. Oops. Shambling Shell, which has Dredge 3 on it. Fiery Conclusion. Now moving on to our uncommons. Boros Swiftblade. Rootkin Ally with Convoke. Dive Bomber Griffin. And our rare is Concerted Effort. 2 and 2 white enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, all creatures you control gain flying till end of turn if a creature you control has flying. The same is true for Fear, First Strike, Double Strike, Land Walk, Protection, Trample and Vigilance. Okay, so we have Farseek in here. 2 and a green, search your library for plains, islands, swamp or mountain card and put it into play tapped. Then shuffle your library. Another common dual land, common bounce land, should I say. Induce Paranoia. 2 and 2 blue to cast with black conditional ability. Mortarpede. 3 and a black to cast with 2 and a green ability. Torpid Moloch. Terrarion. Single colourless artifact. Terrarion comes into play tapped. 2 tap, sacrifice Terrarion, add 2 mana of any combination of colours to your mana pool. Stone Cedar Hierophant. Leave No Trace, which has Radiance on it. Drake Familiar. Veteran Armourer. So 2 and a white for 2/2. Other creatures you control get +0/+1. Perilous Forays. Bathe in Light, also with Radiance on it. Moving on, actually we're moving fairly swiftly on to our uncommons here. Mark of Eviction. And our rare is Bright Flame. X, 2 red, 2 white, sorcery with Radiance. Bright Flame deals X damage to target creature and each other creature that shares a colour with it. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. So our foil is a foil Verdalcan Entrancer. 3 and a blue, 1/4. Creature Verdalcan Wizard. A blue tap. Target creature puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So there we have it. A lot of Ravnica City of Guilds product. Hope you've enjoyed the second unboxing there. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.